Marion, are you hurt?
I don't think so. Are you?
No, I'm not hurt. It's a great way to spend a honeymoon.
Darling, don't joke about it. I know what this boat means to you.
Meant to me. I doubt we'll ever sail this wreck again.
Darling, we'll know better after day breaks. Now, have you any idea where we are?
I have a pretty good idea.
You don't sound overjoyed. I hope the natives are friendly.
There won't be any natives on this island. From our last position before the storm, it can only be one place.
Well?
We've managed to get ourselves wrecked on Eniwetok Atoll.
Eniwetok?
Where we exploded our hydrogen bombs, remember?
Hydrogen bombs? Radiation?
Let's move, love. Better a hot beach than getting caught on this wreck by another wave.
Theater 5 presents Miss Betsy von Furstenberg in Any Port in a Storm.
Wake up. It's morning. Look what I've got. I speared us a fish for breakfast. Now, if I can find the makings of a fire...
What am I doing on this beach? I feel like a piece of driftwood. Eniwetok. Sammy!
Finally awake, huh? I can't find a blasted thing to make a fire with. Everything's either green or soaked by the storm.
Why do you want to bother making a fire?
To cook the fish.
What fish?
Right there on the sand beside you. Ain't he a beauty?
Sammy, you caught this out in the lagoon?
Well, darling, it wasn't flown in from Singapore.
Oh, we can't eat this.
We can eat it if I can get a fire going. I'm going to get some gasoline from the wreck.
No! I'm getting rid of this.
Marion, you threw him back. It took me an hour to catch that fish.
Oh, Sammy, contamination. Everything on or around this forsaken place will be saturated with nuclear contamination. Have you forgotten? The hydrogen bomb was exploded here.
I'm sorry. It looked like a perfectly healthy fish to me.
Well, there's plenty of tin food on the boat. We don't need to live off this land or the sea around it. And while we're about it, we'll see if it's not possible to stay aboard, wreck or not.
Marion.
Oh, come on, darling.
Marion, you don't sound like you anymore.
I don't sound like... Sammy. You're right. I sound like an old harridan. Forgive me?
Oh, I mean, you're the girl who thought honeymooning on a 50-foot ketch would be a great idea. You went through a whizzer of a storm like an old salt, but now we're relatively safe and you seem to be cracking up.
Oh, darling, you know how some girls are afraid of mice.
Mice? Well, sure.
Well, I'm afraid of mice and radiation. Come along, darling. Come along to the boat. Well, how does it look?
5 feet of the bow stove in.
Well, can't we patch it somehow? Enough to float her upright?
It'll take a week to rig a makeshift bulkhead behind the hull. The search planes ought to find us before that.
Well, we can't be sure they'll find us.
Let's get aboard and see what goes. Up you go.
Oh, I don't need pushing.
Well, then take your foot off my face. Come on, throw your leg over the rail. Fall inboard.
Oh!
Now move over. I'm coming up.
Oh, my... Oh, I'll be a mass of bruises.
The rigors of sailing.
The rigors of being hoisted by a heavy hand.
It only seems that way. Now, let's see what we can find in the cabin.
How do you walk on a boat when the deck is perpendicular?
Same way you walk on a gable roof.
How's that?
With difficulty. Here, you want a hand?
Not again, thanks. Now, you go ahead. I'll follow somehow.
All right. Here, grab my arm. Pull yourself up.
Oh! Everything in this cockpit is slippery.
Well, get hold of the hatch combing.
All right. I can brace myself in the hatchway now.
Brace yourself for a shock. Poke your head through the hatchway and have a look inside the cabin.
Oh, it's half underwater. Good heavens, everything looks totally smashed.
You stay here in the cockpit. I'm going down.
Sammy! Sammy, now don't slip and fall. I could never pull you out. Sammy!
Darling, will you stop going off like a fire alarm? I'm okay.
I just noticed the radio. See?
What?
On the bulkhead, it's out of the water.
It's been in the water. There's salt crust on it.
Yes, but it's all transistors. We could dry it out.
Possible. We'll see. And Marion,
What?
next time something gets your attention.
You made your point. I shall whisper.
Good. I am now heading for the food locker. Okay?
Sammy! Oh, are you all right?
Except for a battered chin and a plug full of this foul water.
What did you hit?
The generator. Totally submerged and too heavy to move. Which answers your question about the radio.
Oh, no. Oh, Sammy, does that mean we haven't any chance of making contact with the mainland?
Afraid not. Now, once more, let us see about the food locker. Locker door's jammed.
What are you doing?
Breaking open the locker door. Now, let's have a look inside. Yes, you'll be glad to know the food tins are wet, but in good shape. We are not going to starve.
Yes, but the generator.
Out. Not a chance for contact with anyone.
All right. I'll stand back and you toss the cans past me into the cockpit. What about the water?
You can see the tank. Didn't break loose. Should be okay.
Good. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make some kind of level platform out here in the cockpit. Maybe with the hatch covers. And here we are going to stay until they come and find us.
I'm afraid not, darling.
Sammy, I am not going back on that contaminated beach.
But we've got no choice.
Sammy, did you hear what I said?
I'm trying to tell you this cabin is soaked to the ceiling. At high tide, the whole boat is underwater.
Where did you get the bag to make that bundle?
It's my shirt.
Oh, darling, you'll sunburn horribly.
I hope you get the shirt back after you've unloaded the tin stuff in it.
What are you bringing?
Cans of water. You start for the beach. I'll follow.
Oh!
What?
Nearly lost the bundle.
Well, watch it. Here I come. what is it?
Oh! Did you see that rat?
One old rat? Is that what you're carrying on about?
If there's one rat, there'll be dozens, hundreds. Oh, I can't stand rats. I can't stand the sight of them.
Well, let's take a closer look at this, my darling. That rat was scared silly of us. Didn't you hear him screaming?
Sammy, I have been bitten by one of those horrid creatures. They're the most dangerous when they're scared. I'm sorry, Sammy. I'm sorry, but we've got to get away from this beach.
Oh, easy. We're going to work this out.
Sammy, do you realize what it would mean to be bitten by one of these rats? They must have survived the blast of the hydrogen bomb. Imagine what it would be like to be bitten from
Marion, we've got to keep our heads over sun. Now, look. I'm going to bring in a sail from the boat and rig a tent.
No!
It's only a question of holding on for a day, maybe 2.
Do you think I could possibly sleep on this beach tonight knowing that those rats are all over the place?
A day, maybe 2.
I tell you, we've got to get away from here.
When they try for radio contact with us today and don't reach us...
Any place but this, even the open sea.
They'll have word about the storm and they'll notify air-sea rescue. Now, Marion, listen. If we just sit tight, the search planes will be along in no time.
A raft. We could make a raft out of the hatches on the boat.
And another thing, I'm not one bit sure we have to worry about this nuclear contamination.
You say we don't have to worry.
When was the bomb exploded? Back in the mid-50s?
I don't care when it was. We are going to build a raft.
Marion.
I said we are going to build a raft and get away from here fast.
You find the small compass?
Yes.
And the fishing gear?
I found it.
Just bring it along. It could be our survival kit.
I've also found a wet pack of cards in case we get tired of staring at each other.
You know what those hatch covers are nailed to?
Well, small logs, aren't they?
Wet, green wood.
What does that mean?
It means they'll float submerged. We'll always be awash out there, night and day.
Well, there's the metal trunk. They'll keep some things dry.
But not us. It also means we'll have small chance of fighting the currents. The sail won't be worth anything but shade.
The sail will be a marker, make us easier to see from a plane.
Not by any means as easy to see as that 50-foot boat, which isn't going to move from this lagoon.
Sounds as though you're getting ready to back down.
Could be.
Well, think again. We are going.
This business about Eniwetok being hotter than an atomic reactor... Now, Marion, I've been thinking that one over, and it doesn't quite add up. Now, look at that foliage behind you.
Yes?
A good 10 feet high and thriving. Any sign of mutations? Any twisted, cancerous-looking growth you can see?
None that I can see, and I'm not going to look for it.
Did you really look at that fish I caught in the lagoon?
Sammy...
Healthiest fish I ever saw. The rat that scared you half to death was fat and sassy. The land crab...
Land crabs?
All right. I didn't mention them for fear of scaring you. There were some on the beach early this morning. Looked fine, not sick at all. Now,
And?
Look, there's no chance that a couple of days here will do us any great damage. We'll be found by the search planes. We'll be picked up. On the other hand,
there is the raft.
a waterlogged raft. And you want to take your chances on it in the middle of the South Pacific.
Would you rather I went alone?
Well, there's still no direct radio contact. That doesn't mean anything. Lots of things could go wrong with the radio.
Has there been any news at all while I was taking my nap?
Captain McCormick calls. No word from the search planes.
Imagine taking a nap while our boy's out there. Heaven knows where.
Oh, it's the best thing you could do. Now, we won't start to worry yet, my dear.
Trying to sail all the way out there in that 50-foot ketch. I told Sammy and Marion it was perfectly ridiculous.
Now, they're both good sailors, and the Falcon's a stout ship.
But it's one of the worst storms in years. And the Weather Service reports there's more coming.
Well, it's evidently calmed down out there now. So let's take a calm look at the possibilities. Here on the map. I've marked Sammy's last reported position, see?
Hundreds of miles from any sort of land.
Yes, but the whole area's been laid out in a grid. The search planes are covering it square by square.
Look here.
Huh?
What's this dot on the map?
Oh, that's, Eniwetok Atoll.
Where all the hydrogen bombs were set off?
Well, the storm was blowing in a direction that would carry them there. That, in fact, is what I'm hoping.
Hoping they'll land on that terrible place with all the nuclear radiation?
Yes, that's what I hope.
Oh.
Although they may feel the same way that you do about that radiation. Well, the fact is, a team of scientists went back there, found a stand of new foliage, normal fish in the lagoon, and healthy life on the land. The radiation was reduced to almost nothing.
Then they would be perfectly safe there?
Perfectly safe and easy to find, so long as they stay there. Now, Sammy should know that. That's what I'm banking on, really.
I'll take it. Yes? It's good of you to keep us advised, Captain McComa. Thank you. Another storm is forming southeast of the Philippines.
Now. We'll assume they made Eniwetok, and they're going to sit it out there till they're found. All right, Mother?
I'm sorry, darling. There's no logic to it at all. The two of us are staying right here to wait for the planes. I've decided.
So you decided.
Do you no good to talk?
I am not foliage and not a fish.
The sail gets rigged into a tail.
Neither am I a rat or a land crab. So, you had better listen to me.
I have been listening, and the final decision has been made.
No, stop that. Leave that stuff on the
Now,
raft.
what are you doing? I've never seen you like this.
Darling, I want you to remember something.
All right.
You remember that night at the yacht club when we decided to marry?
A beautiful night it was. And so were you.
Darling, do you remember what we talked about in particular?
Where we live, what we
In
do.
particular, we talked about the kind of family we might have and how we'd bring them up and educate them. Do you remember?
Yes, of course I do.
Very well, then. Consider this. I am not foliage, fish, nor rodent. I am a healthy young wife, your wife. Sammy, darling.
Honey, if you think I've stopped loving you just because I got my back up...
I don't think that for a moment. I do think I know you are being arbitrary and unreasonable.
Me unreasonable?
You flatly refuse to leave on the raft.
Marion, I have to take the long view. Now, look at that sky. The storm could build up again. Now, look, honey, I want us to get out of here alive, and our best bet is to stay right here.
Well, so much for us. Now about those children we want.
Well, that's really taking a long view.
Exactly. If we stay on this island, darling, do you guarantee that the effects of that radiation won't harm our children? Come on, answer that one.
What? Who can answer it? All right, Marion. Climb aboard the raft. I'll push off.
Theater 5 has presented Any Port in a Storm, written by Don Lamb, produced and directed by Warren Somerville. In the cast, Betsy von Furstenberg, George Petrie, Ethel Remy, and John Griggs. Audio engineers Marty Folia and Peter Sarantopoulos. Script editor Jack C. Wilson. Sound technician Ed Blaney. Original music by Alexander Vlastotsenko. Orchestra under the direction of Glenn Osser. Executive producer for Theater 5, Mr. Lee Bowman. We invite your comments. Write to Theater 5, New York 23, New York. That's Theater 5, New York 23, New York. This is Fred Foy speaking. This has been an ABC Radio Network production.